And here we are again. Man, everyone might be working. So, I guess people have to have jobs. Oh, we have some visitors. What's up, guys? 16 people. A bit. I guess you guys don't have jobs either. You guys don't have jobs. Yeah, one thing I'm trying to pull up right now is on Wikipedia. There is a specific type of bacteria that is able to go into a cryptosis that I kind of wanted to show you all. That can last for like millions of years. I'm not sure if you just watched the video I just published, but yeah, if I can freaking find this. Or is it a protozoa? What's up, Dr. DIY Hacks? A eukaryote. Yeah, I mean, according to the evidence, it does seem like that life began out. I mean, I think the creation of life from without life is a special thing, and then yeah, it spreads across the universe, and that's what all the evidence points to. Man, I really wish I could find. Okay, I'm pulling out the ChatGPT. I always thought that we were the only things on Earth that have to cook food to not be poisoned. Well, I mean, we eat sushi. I eat sushi. Actually, I'm on a carnivore diet, and maybe Jesus Christ created life. Boom, ciliates. Okay, there we are. Okay, this time I'm gonna like show my screen a bit more. Do you believe Jesus Christ is a supernatural being? One second. I don't want to make an infinite loop. I mean, he in the Bible it says he does have some like special abilities. So, okay, let's make sure that this works. Okay, here we go. Okay, you should be able to see me and a Wikipedia page now. I think. I used to have nightmares and felt it was real because I woke up with the bite marks. Well, were your parents maybe your parents were extraterrestrials, or I feel like you would know if you were being burnt in space. Okay. Cytoplasm. Uh, Transpermia. I'm not sure that would result in very much life. Okay. ChatGPT has led me wrong. We're we are the aliens. That's a little bit of a well, yeah, we probably are. And then after, I guess we're gonna move to Mars, and then move other places. Cryptobiosis. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, I believe in aliens. Um, I mean, I have a lot of evidence for them. But I don't think that they like. I'm not exactly sure that they have the capability to like travel faster than the speed of light. Um, I mean, because that's like some advanced technology requiring special types of matter that create like a negative sort of energy field. I think it's just difficult to like cross the Milky, like just move. Although, if you can get a light sail to about like 20% the speed of light, and if you were to send that just across the Milky Way, it only take 400,000 years to get to the other edge of the Milky Way. Endospores. Yeah, but like when you think of like the sheer size of the Milky Way, that's huge. Boom, here we go. This is what I was looking for. If you guys are looking at my screen. And this is where I was looking for this. Okay, so an endospore is a dormant, tough, non-reproductive structure produced by some bacteria in a certain like type of bacteria. It's like a spore or seed-like form. It's stripped down. In this formation, bacteria divides in the cell wall. Endospores enable bacteria to lie dormant for extended periods, even centuries. There are some reports of spores remaining viable for up to over 10,000 years, and revival of spores of millions of years have been claimed. There's one report where they were revived after 25 million years. What? There's a citation for that. Oh, geez. Um, so like bacteria, like they enter this form, this endospore form, and then they can just travel. Like they don't need anything, so they could theoretically and very easily travel through space, and then get lodged into a planet. They just basically have DNA, which is they have information inside, and that information is like how to assemble themselves together in order to or how to assemble life together, and then that starts evolving. They can survive without nutrients, resistant to ultraviolet radiation, desiccation, high temperatures, extreme freezing, chemical disinfectants. Yeah. So I need to bookmark this. Yeah. So that is one thing I wanted to add to that video are these bacteria in terms of panspermia. Hey, Skate Betty. I was just showing people about the bacteria that I was talking about that can survive for apparently experimentally up to 25 million years in a specific form called an endospore. Pushing, kind of supporting that idea of panspermia more. Well, the creator made in his Orion, the creator made in his infinite wisdom bacteria that can do stuff like this and probably travel around space. Very unnerving. I mean, it doesn't mean this bacteria is harmful to you. It just means that it can it can it can be pretty hardened. Um what was the other thing? I wonder if there's so let's see what this is. Yeah, revival and identification bacterial spores. Okay, this gets back to the idea. Okay, Fuku, this gets back to the idea of abiogenesis. Man, I need to make a video just on abiogenesis. Well, Orion, if you can point me to specific passages in the Bible whereby they discuss abiogenesis and how that came about, I would be delighted to read them. Because I do believe that there are things in religious texts that are like ancient wisdom. Yeah, tardigrades can withstand, like, you can just like screw with tardigrades like in space, but they're like multicellular organisms, and like if you want to just kill a tardig, the thing with tardigrades is that they they'll adapt to the environment, but it'll take them like 20-30 minutes. So if you want to kill them, all you do is put them in instantly boiling water, and then they die. So Orion, I think that's actually from thermonuclear reactions. Yes, ancient Egyptians do have interesting things to look at. One guy that I work with, what was it? It was called like the Book of what was that Egyptian god? He was like the god of the dead or something. There's like a book. And then the fact, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Obviously, the pyramids are aligned to Orion's belt, and I think a lot of people in ancient times were just looking up at the stars in order to attempt to predict things. Yeah, Book of Thoth. Yeah. DIY hacks. Would you like to be reborn in a Japanese adventure? Yeah, I do want to do something on the Book of Thoth. I'd like to read it a bit. I also like reading see if I can pull this up. You made it here for the comments. I mean, where are we? Complete works of Orion, could you give me the passage? Thank you here for the comments. I mean, who wrote the Torah? Who wrote my favorite religious text is and this is not because this is not because that I have a bias towards triangles. My favorite religious text is what Pythagoras wrote with his cronies, because it has a it has a lot of like really interesting little like things to think. I'm getting way off topic from the purpose of this. It has a lot of interesting things to just like things to live by. For example, dietary suggestions. Forbidden was all food causing flatulence, I can't say that word, or indigestion, indigestion, while he recommended the contrary kind of food that preserve an astringent. Basically, Pythagoras and the Greeks were very much against eating beans. But like this is like some, if you read it, it's actually some good advice from like an old man. Yeah, Pythagoras hated beans. See? Look, beans also on account of many also were interdicted. Interdicted. Interdicted a bit. There's like some memes of Pythagoras like burning beans. Well, Orion, I can show you some stuff in this one too, where they're talking about it. Where are we at? Planetary revolutions and time. I mean, they're not claiming how things were made, but they are claiming that things are derived from something called the sameness and the difference. Oh shit. It's more likely that it's more likely that only single cell organisms would be would be involved in panspermia, and even maybe like something that's just RNA protected by a shield. In Medellin, I mean, you know, I have been I got hit in the face with a pipe once. I got drugged once. Sometimes I get chased by people in the streets. So, you know, you got to be ready. I prefer to carry around a bit of super glue in case I get stabbed. But, you know, that doesn't happen very often. God says he spreadeth out the heavens. I guess you could say God is a candidate for dark matter. Yeah, and Nameless, they like the planetary formation works in a way to where there's like swirling. Basically, the planets are coming together with a bunch of dust by a gravitational pull, and so they're going to get lodged in there. And then when they come out, like then they're going to need some place to come out, so they get to the surface. So underwater hydrothermal vents and like volcanoes. Since they can live in like I'm pretty sure they can survive like volcanic eruptions. Volcanoes are kind of a way to like really like most of the water on Earth came from volcanoes. Yeah, just like accretion disks. For example, okay, a star explodes, everything just blows out. There's probably some bacteria, or not even bacteria, things that can form an endospore, and primordial ooze sounds like that's getting. I think primordial ooze is more of a. It's like, okay, like how did life begin, and that's like kind of an outdated idea. There's some crazy ideas with how like carbon can start forming together and stuff like that, but nothing's ever been proven or shown, or no one's really even gotten close to it. I think primordial ooze is just like a proxy name for something. But what you might find interesting in terms of, I am a big panspermia advocate. You might find interesting that uh, these things, this type of bacteria can go in endospore mode, and then just stick around. Dark matter is, I'm gonna try and explain as best I can. Dark matter is kind of like, there's ways that we can measure the amount of mass in a galaxy via like the velocity of the galaxy, and also like the amount of light that it gives off. And the amount of mass in a galaxy tends to always end up being a lot more. Okay, think of this. You're looking at a galaxy. You can estimate about how much mass is in the galaxy by looking at its luminosity. Now, you can also, using some physics and looking at the momentum of the galaxy, determine the mass of the galaxy. And what ends up happening is that when you look at what the mass should be by the luminosity, and what the mass is measured to be by other forms, there's an inconsistency, like a big inconsistency. And so scientists were like, oh, this is weird. So that's how dark matter came about. There's a lot of theories about it. Spriaticus. Why would you say panspermia is unlikely? Because I would argue that like abiogenesis is even, that's like a miracle. Yeah, the way Nameless said that right there, that's exactly it. So what you could do, Nameless, is you could let's say you're like a civilization and you want to send off, like, you value life and you want to spread life. We could do this now. What you do is you get some solar sails, which are just propelled by like the sun. And oh man. And then you aim those solar sails at a star. So the way stars form is there's a bunch of dust, something disturbs the dust, and that kind of starts spinning things, and then stars kind of like compound together. So that's why you see stars and stuff. So all you have to do is you just put some like bacteria or something on solar sails, and then you aim them at those like nebulas. They get trapped in the nebula, and they could be dispersed to millions of planets and star systems. This is called directed panspermia, and we could actually do this today too. In a way, you could almost say you just need some tinfoil and to put it into space. Jake, I am the dude. Nameless, yeah, life is a rather impressive coincidence because It just formed from rocks and stuff. I think so. A really big key, or a really big thing that we're going to see is in the missions to something like Europa and Titan, which are places where there, likely is the conditions for life. If we find life there, then and we look at that life, we'll be able to look at the way that life, like, it's the genetic code, the language of the DNA of that life. And if it's similar to ours, then we know that we were cut from the same cloth as that. And we also know that life is likely common in the universe because it's not just on our planet. Fire is exceedingly rare, it seems. Earth has perfect and rate conditions. I mean, life adapts. Yes, you would need less. Well, I mean, it would make sense that life is everywhere. It's just we need like a bit more evidence, which is why those missions to Titan and Europa are so important. We just like a fossil, just something. Because if there's just one thing, then we're like, okay, cool. There's life probably everywhere. So, with a sample size of one inhabited planet, wouldn't finding similar genetic traits on Europa Titan barely move the needle? Um, this is a kind of like a common. Uh, what we wouldn't be, we're not looking for similar genetic traits. There is an underlying language to how your body read or your cells read DNA. And then, like, for every three, there's as AGTC. For every three of those, your body's like, oh, okay, there's three of those. And then it makes an amino acid, and it ties those all together. What we'd be looking for is to see if that language was the same. If the language was the same, then that would likely mean either A, life has to form with that language. It's called the genetic code. Um, but I mean, like, the genetic code is basically locked for all life on Earth and has been ever since the beginning of life on Earth. There's a few exceptions, like fruit flies. And yeah, I am still in Colombia. Anyways, I think I am gonna go catch up with a friend. Um, Thanks for joining me, guys. Uh, yeah, yeah, Scabetti. Yeah, I don't talk to this about my friends either. Oh, we're not looking for. Um, yeah, yeah. Anyways, I may release another video tonight. We'll see. Maybe just about abiogenesis. But yeah. See you guys later.